Season 4, Episode 3 of The Flash opens up with the Thinker creepily watching a girl named Becky order coffee at Jitters and narrate all the bad luck that's happened in her life. First, she gets milk in her coffee, which isn't good since she's lactose intolerant. Then she runs home, because apparently Jitters doesn't have a bathroom, and finds that her boyfriend's cheating on her. And then she goes to her casino job, spills a drink, an apple martini, and apparently it's her fault, even though technically it's the customer's fault. Gets fired, walks outside, doesn't have time to change, and there's a boot on her car, and then she has to catch a bus, but at least this time she made it. But of course she has superpowers now because she was on the same bus as the other 11 metahumans and Kilgore. And then cuts back to Team Flash, who are playing laser tag, and they have lunch. And Barry and Iris are looking at their wedding venues since their wedding's is in 6 weeks. And then Cecile's worried about the house pipes because apparently she moved in with Joe at some point. And then Becky's on the rise again. Now she has the power of luck, but everyone around her has bad luck. And she decides to rob a bank. And then later she uses her luck to gamble, which I don't know why she didn't do first. Because you can do that without robbing a bank, then there's like no criminal record for her. And she probably wouldn't have went to jail. Maybe still, but probably be a lesser sentence. Then, of course, Barry tries to catch her in a Prius. Well, she escapes in a Prius, but her bad luck starts to rub off on everything. He slips on some marbles, which she should have been able to avoid, but oh well. I'll accept it since it's for comedy purposes. And then later, Barry sees Iris in her wedding dress, which leads to more bad luck. They lose their venue since apparently it burns down. Then their backup venue is taken by someone else. So then Iris has an idea to get married right away at a church without RSVPing or anything. Just ask the priest right after a funeral. And I do wonder if they're still going to therapy. Because I doubt, it was 1.5 sessions before. Will help much, but I feel like they should go back. Because they still haven't really learned how to work together. Which was the whole point they went to therapy. Well, they did a little bit. They learned to listen to each other, but listening and working together, they go hand in hand, but I feel like they should still work on some other stuff. And then everything starts to go downhill after that. Becky, who's now Hazard because of Cisco. Her field of bad luck expands as she gambles away at the casino and wins $1.2 million after 37 rolls. And then a plane starts to go down. Cecile's trapped in a house that's quickly falling apart. with Joe inside after she trips and falls. And then Barry's after Becky again, but he somehow manages to slip on coins, which he should have easily seen on the floor, handcuff himself, and get trapped under a sign. Then meanwhile in Star Labs, the particle accelerator is going off again. So they're trying to stop that. But eventually, down to the wire, the last few seconds, Harry has the brilliant idea to just let the particle accelerator go off so it can cancel out Hazard's powers, which somehow works, I guess. But then I feel like there'd be like more of an explosion or something if the particle accelerator went off again. Because the first time didn't. Eobard, who was pretending to be Harry, somehow got paralyzed, but that was pretend too. But some debris or something must have fallen for his trick to work out somehow. And then Ronnie and Stein got like trapped in the flames, I guess. There was an explosion. That's how they became Firestorm. Oh well. Then Barry arrests Becky. And then back to the Thinker. Things are going according to plan, but Team Flash is moving faster than he expected them to. And he's watching them all through the Samuroid head and Star Labs. And no one's the wiser, even though Cisco's supposed to be a genius at technology. Should have at least found something, but maybe couldn't detect it because it probably is future technology that the Thinker is using. Maybe. Only time will tell. And then Cecile decides to not move out of Joe's old house, even though it was falling apart with the pipes, because it costs like 15 grand just to fix that, and it costs less for the entire house. But then she changes her mind, since Joe raised his family there, and she tells him she is pregnant. And Joe just blinks out and stares off into space, which was funny. And I really like this episode, Luck Be a Lady, because it was definitely the funniest and most lighthearted episode of The Flash that I can remember as I lose my voice. Yeah, it was really a fun episode, even though the villain wasn't really a villain, and I feel like most of it could have been avoided. She probably wouldn't be on their radar as much if she didn't rob that bank. But oh well. I still liked it. I still don't know what the Thinker could be planning, but with metahumans, all I can think of is really is fight Barry, but Barry was trapped in the Speed Force. He could have just left him there and carry out with his other plans that he wants, but if he broke him out, it has to be revenge for something that happened in the future then. As usual, just like Eobard thought, I guess. It's either revenge or take over the world. It's always one of those with villains. Well, TV show villains at least. And movie villains.